Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
The fork in the road is not just a statue that's been put in here at Giga-Texas. It's actually a metaphor that talks about having a choice between a path that you're already on and a new path. And I can't think of a better representation of what we just heard at the 2025 fiscal year and fourth quarter financial results meeting that was held here at Giga-Texas on Wednesday. The reason why is that up until now we know that Tesla has been talking about its embracing of AI, looking towards that future of amazing abundance and a lot of the changes that are going to happen because of that. But on Wednesday at the financial results meeting, we got a definitive change in direction, and that is going to shape what's going to happen with Tesla and Giga-Texas for the next several years. And I want to just lead off this video with a little discussion about that. Now, what this fork in the road indicates is that Tesla is definitively moving away from being a vehicle manufacturer and becoming a transportation provider. In addition to that, they're also going to be very strong in the AI realm, putting physicality to AI in the form of the Optimus Robot and the vehicles that they are going to be producing and then putting into service to provide those transportation services. And in order to do that, Tesla is going to be expending a lot of money, specifically in this year, 2026, about $20 billion in capital expenditures. And this is basically the blueprint that Tesla outlined for us and shows that definitive change in direction, that fork in the road. First off, the venerable S and X models are coming to an end. Production will stop at the end of the second quarter of this year. In addition to that, Cybercab is going to be playing a central role as we move forward. And much of those capital expenditures are going to be put into the factory here behind me to produce the Cybercabs. And they reiterated that Cybercab production is still on track to begin the first part of April of this year. So just about 60 days away from now. The next part of that is, of course, Optimus Robot. The S and X production lines out at Fremont are going to be decommissioned, and they're going to be changed to be able to produce the third version of Optimus. And they're expecting to begin that production at the end of this year out at Fremont at a run rate of about 1 million of the third version of the Optimus per year. Now, behind me at Giga-Texas, that role is going to expand considerably. They're going to be building the factory to support 10 million Optimus robots, and the first one built here is going to be the fourth generation of the Optimus robot. So that is something that we are definitely going to be watching for here over the next few years. They talked a lot about the Cybertruck behind me and what its future may be. Now, there's been a lot of questions about the production rates and the production volume of the Cybertruck, and the answer is basically they're going to continue to produce the Cybertruck, but the production lines behind me are able to be reconfigured to produce different models. Specifically, they're going to be looking at turning the Cybertruck into a fully autonomous vehicle and using that for cargo operations and selling those to companies. And we'll see if that change for the Cybertruck will take place. Now, what I think is going to happen with the Cybertruck actually is that they're going to have a couple of variants of it. One will continue to have the steering wheel available to the public, very similar to what I have behind me. The other is going to be fully autonomous, and then they may actually do a modification to the Cybertruck as well. So that'll be something to be watching for. Another big part of that capital expenditure and that fork in the road direction is AI. We know that they're going to be building or finishing up Cortex 2 here at the site, and that is going to be somewhere around 500 megawatts of electrical energy demand, and it will be coming online this summer, as we have discussed in the past and also as shown by this graph that they had at the financial results meeting. So Cortex 1, Cortex 2 is going to be providing a lot of AI data capacity and compute capability to train the vehicles and the Optimus robot. So all of that is coming here as well. And there's a lot of other details that I'm not going to go into, but I specifically wanted to talk about those because they directly affect Giga-Texas. So keep that in mind as we fly the drone around and we see all of the activity. All of this is to support this large vision and, of course, this new direction of the company. So with that, I think it'd be great if we get into the drone. Let's fly around and see what else is going on at this factory, and also just reflect on this monumental change in direction for the company.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. We're going to start off here south of the Colorado River, show you this construction that is going on near Falwell Lane. You can see that on the bottom of the screen as we pass over these extremely tall power lines, which are the tallest by far in the entire section here near Giga-Texas. We can see more of this work at the bottom of the screen. Looks like there's some trenching, some pipe, and some additional work being done all along Falwell Lane. And that may be just related to additional work to continue to expand out the capabilities of the power plant that you can see here. This is the Sandhill Energy Plant, and it is one of many around the area that provide power for this section of Austin, including Giga-Texas. At the top of the screen with that large water tower is the water treatment plant, and that is being expanded as well. Plus, we can see a cooling plant for the power generating plant as we flew over. Now, as we continue to fly back towards the north, we'll approach into the Colorado River. The large lake on the right is also part of Giga-Texas, and what we are seeing here around the river and where the tree line is eventually where the Riverfront Ecological Park will be constructed. And that large clearing near here is kind of give you an idea of where this is exactly located in relation to where this ecological park is going to be, which is the trees below the drone right now. It's a great view also of the entire east side, the east warehouse on wheels in the upper right, and all of these workshops that are responsible for manufacturing and fabricating a lot of the pipes that are going to be used over in Cortex 2 and other parts of the factory. This is a really nice view with lighting showing you what is going on with this cleared field. There's some excavation work going on the bottom right now, and of course more of the dirt infill here, getting this ready for construction, probably the extension of River Road. And all of this dirt is coming from the far southwest of the site across the highway, and I will show you that later in the video. Good view of the pipes for the drainage that is now underneath where River Road will extend through, and we can see more work here at this intersection that is being prepared for pipes and drainage. There's also some very large cylindrical items here, and you can see that they look like they're pipe segments. Not sure if these are forms or what they're going to be used for, but they're significantly larger than any of the other pipes. They might be used for concrete forms, and we'll see if that is in fact the case. But here's a great view along Robotic Avenue towards the north and panning back over to the parking garage, and still has the privacy fences on that east side. This is where we've seen a lot of not only building materials and pipe segments, but also production line equipment that has been staged here temporarily. It's rapidly being emptied out as it's moved into the factory through this section into where the Cybercab production line is. And where that white truck is driving out is where I think the Cybercabs will exit the factory. Great view of the activity next to the stamping machine section of Giga-Texas. A lot of deliveries, a lot of trucks, a lot of equipment next to the walls. And then here we see some crates and that gantry crane that is being used to unload some of these extremely heavy crates as they are arriving onto the site. Nice view of the cooling plant for Cortex 1. And you can tell that there's 6 fans here. When we compare that to the chiller plant for Cortex 2, we're going to find out it's going to have at least double, if not triple, the cooling capacity that you see here with this cooling unit. At the bottom of the screen, we see more trenching and auger drills in this section as they prepare and continue to put in pipes for water management and drainage throughout this entire section. I'm going to pass over the power lines. We'll go over towards the cyber pond. I'll bring the drone back down here on the south side of the main factory and follow along River Road to where the caisson is located here on the south side. More of the trenching operations are underway. It looks like they are connecting in pipes that go into this caisson and extend over towards the east where we saw some of that other work underway. As I pass the crane and fly over these power lines, I'll zoom in here and show you the work that is going on next to this caisson. You can see that with the excavator, or at least the item with the cable that's reaching down into the tunnel. That's sitting on top of what was the caisson, and just about a semicircle of that wall is remaining. This very large concrete structure is a really good view with the worker to give a sense of scale. They are filling in the bottom, and we can also see some of the pipes and the concrete connections that are made here. And the trenches continuing off to the north, and it's connecting into the pipes that were extended and built into this entire berm all the way along this side of the factory. So I'll bring the drone up, we'll face to the west, I'll cross over the highway, and we'll resume on the other side. I'll bring the drone down here in this material staging yard. You can see off to the left, it's very empty. Most of the materials have been moved over to this section of the site. So you pass over some of the steel corrugated pipes and some of the other equipment in the middle of the field. We can get a good look here at all of the equipment that's being staged here underneath the power lines. Some of it's production equipment, some of it's aeration for ponds, and others are building materials. See that there's some unpacking on the way. There's some silver wrapped robotic assemblers. And here we see some very large panels on the ground, and kind of with red paint. Looks like some rust on the top next to those 4 white boxes. Again, I think all of that is some sort of production equipment for the factory. As I kind of pirouette back towards the west, a good view of all the concrete segments that are being stored here temporarily. These are being moved over as they are needed onto the rest of the site and installed for some of the underground piping and water management systems that are being in place. As we pass over the parking garage or parking spot for the contractors, I wanted to show you what's going on with this clearing. Some of the gray material is from the tunneling underneath the Colorado River for the caissons, and then the rest of this is dirt that's being excavated, put into dump trucks, and then taken over to that east side where we saw them filling in the dirt for that river road extension over those water management pipes. So pretty extensive amount of the site just to move a lot of the dirt. As we pass over the power lines, I wanted to stop here again at this workshop for the superchargers. You can see on the left many of the superchargers that have been built. There's also boxed items which are parts of the superchargers. We can see that in the tent on the bottom of the screen, some of the bases are getting some of the posts or the cabinets installed. This is where they are coming from. You can tell that there's a lot more ready to go. And then the top of the screen on the right is where there's more of those cabinets that you see here within the tent. I'll zoom in so you get a good view of the work here. You can see the posts in the box, the cabinets on those black bases. And with the number that we see here, there's at least another 20 that could be built. So an extensive amount of superchargers being constructed in this facility on this west side. As we pass over the blue test pipes for the chiller plant, looks like they may be getting ready to be used eventually for the chiller plants at Cortex 2, which we will see here momentarily have a lot of progress today. All of these transformers continue to be stockpiled here, waiting for their turn to be moved off-site to wherever they may be needed. And they certainly have a lot of them here. There's close to about 150, maybe a little bit more stored right now. And I think transformers continues to be a limiting factor for a lot of electrical systems, not only for Tesla, but for around the region. Here's a great view of this clearing, and almost all of the tree debris has now been moved away. They are putting in some stakes on the ground. It looks like it's preparing for some sort of construction. Some grading work is being done. And as I kind of maneuver around here, and not only you can see the stakes in the ground, but also this excavator is kind of making a new drive path that will cross over this water management pipe to allow drainage underneath this roadway, and that's going to connect into the road with the transportation truck to allow access in. So continue to watch and see what they will be building here. The outbound lot is pretty active today with a good mix of Cybertrucks and all different versions of the Model Ys. And we can see that the test track is being operational here as well. There is more vehicles being aligned on the west side of the end of line here at the direct delivery center. So more people are picking up their vehicles here today. And the semi-truck is not here on the left of the screen. And as I kind of turn back in, this is a great view of those direct delivery vehicles and a look back at the main factory. I'm going to pull away and kind of show you where all of those blocks have been placed along the road and towards the drainage ditch. And then, of course, this large field is where eventually a welcome center will be constructed, as far as I am understanding. And also we see some of the racks for the casting stored here temporarily next to this material staging yard with the two tents. I'm going to come back towards the end of line facility, bring the drone down a little bit more to show you some of the activity here with vehicles arriving at the end of line for final processing before they go over to the outbound lot for shipping. And you can see several of the lanes here on the east side of the end of line having Model Ys arrive today. Looks like it's a Model Y premium construction day as far as I can tell. So I'm going to get ready to cross over the highway. I'll give you a nice pan around the factory, and we'll resume on the other side. The lighting in the wind is perfect for the flags today. A nice vivid look here at the West Main entrance. going to maneuver the drone around here just to show you some of the exiting Model Ys from the factory as production continues. Here's a look of a white one, and as a bonus, I'm going to zoom in and show you a little bit different footage that I filmed a little earlier showing another Model Y coming out. You can see that they are now back to autonomously driving down the ramp and to this stop point, and then all the way over to the end of line. There was some construction and reconfiguration work going on just in the inside of that door, and during that time the employees were driving them down the ramp and then allowing them to drive autonomously. So it looks like we're back to normal operations. As I zoom back away, I'll bring the drone up and over the roof. I wanted to show you what the current situation looks like for the solar panels. The long, thin line underneath the Tesla letters is completed. I don't see any more of the solar panels being lifted up onto the roof for installation. So for right now, this looks like that is what they have, at least to this point. Maybe we'll start a resumption of more solar panels this spring. No real activity at this platform for loading into the building. But as we get to the 4680s, I wanted to show you something. During the financial results meeting, they talked about the fact that both the anode and cathode are now using the dry process, and they are using Model Ys are getting some of the 4680s. So this is a very big development for battery cell production here at Giga-Texas, and it also relates to the lithium plant and the cathode plant. So battery cells are not really a limiting factor anymore, which is really great news. Showing you here some of that excavation work on this west side, where all of this new asphalt covers in the pipes that were installed recently. Also a good view of the castings and the sorting lot here on the north end. As I zoom back around, or at least move the drone back with the zoom in, show you some large kind of racking systems that are being prepared to be moved into this part of the factory, which is the 4680s. This may be a storage system, could be related to battery cell manufacturing as well. All the 4 Model Y body and whites that were on the north end of the paint shop have been moved away since my previous video. And I'll bring the drone up over the power lines, show you that north lot for the castings, and we'll come back into the northeast corner of the casting machine structure, where I will zoom in and show you a little bit of the activity that is going on with the 2 furnace loaders and some of the materials that are being delivered here and will be used to melt down and make the castings. As I continue to fly towards the south, I'm going to slow down the video here a little bit, show you coming into the left. I'll zoom in here. This is a section of the Cybercabs on the ground. I'll give you a closer in view here. This is the entire rear assembly that would make a Cybercab, and then this would join the other 4 major sections for that unboxed process. So it seems like they are still continuing to work on dialing in that production line with some of the equipment like that. Here's some more items next to the wall that have been brought in recently for moving into the factory. Also, those black bases are for large robotic assemblers, and it looks like there's 5 of them left. More materials next to the wall here on the right and that secondary main entrance. And I'll take this opportunity with the lighting to pan back to the east and show you this staging lot. A lot of these are Model Y standards. There's also some Model 3s, because this is a transit hub for Tesla. Also, there's some blues and reds in here, so I would think that there may be some premium vehicles mixed in with all of these. So continue to see minor changes with the inventory on this side of the site. It's a great zoomed in view over the wind tunnel towards the material staging here, and some of the glass with the CDEC Glass Company still being stored here, waiting for their turn to continue to install some glass on the south end of the factory when that time is ready. I'll bring the drone over the west warehouse, the east warehouse on wheels, which is similar to the west one we saw earlier in the video. Also some deliveries on the left, some workshops on the bottom of the screen. and some clearing sections off here to the right, also below the drone, as they continue to kind of reconfigure this entire section for what I believe is going to be a large construction project very soon. Coming over to this section here, just checking in with the old Martin Marietta and the concrete truck maintenance facility. Still believe that they are working internally to disconnect and disassemble everything. This will eventually be removed. And also this very large pile of dirt continues to see some more dirt brought up to the top. Again, I'm not sure exactly what this is for, but it's most likely being stored for some eventual construction. And we're going to see some more of that work here to the north of the battery cathode plant soon. There's a new permit that talks about Bobcat 1.5. Bobcat 1 referred to the cathode plant, the long, thin building you see at the top of the screen when it was constructed. So since we have a 1.5, I'm expecting some additional construction soon. Speaking of which, at the south end of the crash test facility, this is what this site looks like. More trenching, more of the conduit, and looks like some additional pipes being installed. Next to the crash test facility, it looks like they are moving some of the Cybercabs around that have had crash testing. This one here shows something with the driver's door. There's no I don't think that there's any mirrors, or maybe there are, but this kind of gives you an idea of some of the testing that they are doing on the Cybercab. Many more are under covers. There's also some Model Ys that have had some side impact testing as well. Of course, here's some more of those Cybercabs. And the crates on the left-hand side of the screen have Cybercab parts that have been used during some of the testing that they've been doing here at this facility. As we get to the north end of the crash test site, I will zoom back out, kind of point the drone to the north. We're going to fly up to this staging yard where more of these green transformers are waiting for their turn to be installed on the west side of Cortex 2. And while I'm here, I want to go fly up and take a look at this site. Where all of this concrete is the sections that we see at the bottom of the screen that's waiting for being broken up, and this equipment that is being installed here on this graded section is Lippmann machinery that is specifically designed to crush this material. And it looks like they are setting up more of their operations and getting ready for that to begin. They moved some of these conveyors to this site, and as you can tell, they're kind of setting up where the conveyors are located with these large green hoppers. And we will see this in operation probably next week as they break up all of this concrete, which is debris from several years worth of construction, deconstruction, and change of plans of Giga-Texas. So I'm going to fly it back past the cathode plant on the left, this large construction zone between the cathode plant, the die shop, and Cortex 2, and fly in over this drainage ditch and the pond to kind of give you an idea of what is going on. And there is a lot of changes, even in just a couple of days since my previous video. Now, first of all, we can see some equipment on the bottom of the screen and some concrete items for the north section. Where all these vehicles are parked is where I expect to see probably another cooling system installed. We can see the excavation beginning in the center right of the screen as I kind of maneuver around here. This is very similar to what we've seen with the other bunkers of part 1 and 2. And we see some trench work on both the left and the right of the screen for HDPE pipes and other pipes segments being installed. The rebar cages here are for part 2 of the chiller plant, and you can see that being installed along some of the perimeter walls. They've left the north wall unfinished so far. I think that's to allow for materials and the crane to operate. And eventually they'll put that wall in. Here's a good look at the bunkers at the bottom of the screen. Also some of the holes in the wall for the pipe segments. And this is a kind of a mirror image of part 1 that they're building a little bit further to the south. Now, if I'm correct, we're going to see a third one very similar to this on that north end of the building to add 3 main parts to the chiller system for Cortex 2. And if that's the case, it's going to be at least 3 times the cooling capacity of the one at the southeast corner of the main factory. Here we see the fan enclosures and the fans themselves on the ground. As all of these have been assembled, they're being lifted up and installed onto the top of this structure. You can also see the drive units that will spin the fans have been installed, and one of the 4 of the fan enclosures or shrouds is being placed right now. Since they have the other ones on the ground and the fan units already set out, I would expect probably by, certainly by tomorrow, these 4 fans will be installed. So this is working very, very quickly. And I think this is going to also expand to be 6 fan units at some point, but we'll continue to watch that as things develop. But a great view across this side of the site, part 1 with that large enclosure and the fan units, part 2 with the perimeter walls, and then on the north end is where I think we're going to see yet some more of the cooling system. On the south end, it's a good view of all the activity that is going on, specifically with Megapacks. We see more of them are being delivered today. The very large Saren's crane is being used to lift them off the trucks and placed here temporarily. There are 16 more that have been delivered here on the south side. And on this west side, 64 have been placed now. So that means that we are up to 80 already on site, and there's plenty of room for more. This also means that this is now the largest Megapack installation at Giga-Texas. The part 2 for the data center at the south end of the factory has only got 72, and the original one has 68. So this is really growing rapidly. As I pull away with this zoom in, you can get a good sense of where they're being installed. Also, all of the low-level screw-type piers that are being installed along this section, more of them here against the wall. All of this is going to have even more Megapacks, transformers, and other electrical equipment installed to power the data center that is being put in here. And from what we understand is it'll be about 500 megawatts worth of electrical energy that will be used here. That's why the cooling system is so expansive. That's about 2 to 3 times bigger than Cortex 1. And this also explains why there's so much of the Megapacks being installed here as well. As I kind of maneuver around here on the north end, turning around to kind of give you an overall view of this entire site, the west side of Cortex 2, the large water detention pond, and as we come into the electrical switch yard, we'll bring the drone back down and just show you some of the details that are going on here today. Now this is being expanded to power the 2 data centers and the growing factory, plus some additional future construction. So this work is definitely critical to allow Cortex 2 to become operational in the summer. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of the pace that they need to be at to complete the installation of these transformers, the rest of the steel structure, circuit breakers, and the high-tension cables to bring the power to be able to support that. But here's a great view of the assembly work that is going on, plus the form work for the blast wall next to the transformers. To give an idea what that will look like, this original part shows those blast walls between the transformers, and that is what they are constructing. There's a really quick view past the data center Megapacks for the south side, Cortex 1, and some of the cables that are being pulled through the conduit that will connect over to Cortex 2. So I'll bring the drone up to a much higher altitude, kind of give you an overall bird's eye view of all of the site that we visited today, and how the complex of structures on the left is coming together, and where we pretty much are in relation to the entire site. So a lot of activity, a lot of great news from the financial results meeting. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.